You're absolutely correct, Ayanda, and it also comes against the backdrop of universities in South Africa also still struggling to implement the online applications policy and also implementing it against the no walk-ins policy. You will know that because of COVID-19, but also because of just progress with time, you'll find that universities are now saying that all applications should be centralized and should be online in order to prevent stampedes that we've seen, because some of them have actually become deadly. So the minister is coming to KwaZulu-Natal in a very important time. We're already hearing, of course, some process relating, of course, to the application process that is being online, with some others saying that it is exclusionary. We expect to speak to the minister right now. In fact, he's just stepping out. My colleague Gift Nkosi is showing you the minister as he's going to come to lead this particular process. Let's just walk into the minister, please. Minister, yes. Please talk to us about today's program and its significance.
It's a very important program. The Anglican Church throughout Southern Africa, they normally have what they call their educational academic day. It was last week, but I'm pleased that I persuaded them that because I want to come, I was not going to be here last week. Let's move it to this week. It means a number of things to us as government and as the department. Firstly, that the church is always a very important partner in education, in promoting education. The church represents one of the most organized sectors in our society. And they are also a very important platform for us as government to be able, firstly, to pass on information about what we do, in this case, our own Department of Higher Education and Training. I'm also, of course, responsible for the Department of Science and Innovation. But also we see this as very important in forming partnerships with the church. For instance, the priest in this church, Reverend Rudra, was telling us that they are going to be renovating a building which they want to use in future for skills development in response to needs of the communities. That's precisely the kind of partnership that we want, which is done in an organized fashion by an organized institution like the church. But also, most importantly, we've decided then that with this invitation, we're going to bring most of our institutions in the higher education and training sphere to come and actually inform the young people and the community in general about what we offer as a department. You know, we have got representatives from our 3 universities, am I right, in this province, University of Zululand, which is where I did my first degree, by the way, University of KwaZulu-Natal, which is where I did my postgraduate studies, and then the Durban University of Technology. We've also invited our TVET colleges, they are here. We've also invited our sector education and training authorities, as well as the Community College of KwaZulu-Natal and its institutions to be here. So we've got the whole suite of what we offer today. Of course, we are partnering with the church. The church uses this to pray for education, which is something that is very important. But also then in the meantime, we hope that after today, we would have provided as much information as possible for this place. To many of us, by the way, who are from KwaZulu-Natal, Lamontville is a very, very important township in the history of the struggle for liberation in this country. You know, this township was in the forefront from the 70s and the 1980s, even before that, because it's an old township in the struggle against apartheid. So to me, it's like the completion of a circle. You know, having known Lamontville for what it has been, today I'm actually coming here in my different role now in government to come and say, we didn't struggle in vain, but we struggled so that we could create a better society and better communities. And there is no better place to be doing that than in this township whose residents actually suffered greatly in the past, but they were not only victims, which is something that is important. They were also architects of the democratic South Africa that we enjoy today.
Minister, let us then take this opportunity, of course, expand on what you're talking about, sharing information with the community here in Lamontville. But to the rest of South Africa, are we ready to kick off the 2022 academic year? We are hearing reports, of course, of some institutions struggling with the online registration process that is said, of course, to exclude those without access. Are you confident that this year, of course, we are not going to start with what you've started, also criticizing this annual process, so to say?
I'm very confident that on our side, as government, we are ready for 2022. That's what also I'll be sharing with the congregation today. And hopefully, of course, that will also go out to the communities. I must say that amongst other things, insofar as our universities and colleges, all those students who qualify for our department's bursary as administered through the National Student Financial Aid Scheme, those who have passed and have been accepted and are doing programs that are registered will actually get assistance. Now that is huge. It's phenomenal. You know, I know that people tend to then focus on all else except this important work that is done by government. You know, NSFAS over the past 5 to 6 years has increased by more than 600%. This year we are talking about 47 billion rands that we'll be spending this year to support youngsters from working class and poor families to access university and college education, which is very, very important. So those, they are covered. If they are taken, they will go in. I will be explaining what NSFAS students actually qualify for, as well as also in it's both universities and TVET colleges. We're also going to come to send a message to say, those who have not made it, they must not despair. Especially those who have not made it in matric, although we are not only a department that deals with matriculants, by the way. We say to them, other than the chance they may have, which is the second chance in writing matric, we've got lots, hundreds of thousands of skills opportunities, learnerships, internships for people to be able to acquire some workplace experience so that they can be able to get employed or they can be able to start their own little initiatives. Those are the things that we are also going to be sharing. Of course, there is this one other matter of those who do not qualify for NSFAS because they come from families who do not fall within the criteria that we have set, but also their families are not rich enough to be able to actually afford, especially university education. Much as that falls outside of government scope of funding, but we are saying as government, we need to be working towards an affordable loan scheme. That's why at the moment we are having very extensive engagements with the banking sector, amongst others, to see if as a country we can set up an affordable loan scheme. We hope that that should be in place sometime during this year, so that in future we do not have a situation where anybody is unable to access an institution, a post-school education and training institution, especially universities and colleges, just because they can't pay up front. So you have NSFAS, and then of course we've got this scheme that we are busy working at now.
Minister, let me not keep you any longer. I know you've got a sermon to address, so thank you so much for talking to us here on Newzroom Afrika. Well, Ayana, that was Minister of Higher Education and Training, Blade Nzimande. He's saying, of course, that NSFAS has about 47 billion rand that has been dedicated for this year, so that is quite a massive amount. He noted that in the past 5 or 6 years, NSFAS has actually increased the amount, its disbursements amount for about 600%. He's saying, of course, that those who fall within the missing middle, government is having extensive conversations with the banking sector, all in a bid to create an affordable loan scheme, and is hoping that this year we will have a further announcement to that effect.